Hello, my crafty friends. Well, today I have a couple of fun fold card ideas that I want to share with you. So I'm going to share a little pop-up section inside these cards. Hi, it's Lynn Dunn from Stamptastic Designs. Thanks so much for joining me today. In this episode of Stamptastic TV, I have two different card ideas to share with you that feature an inside gatefold section. So this is what the card looks like. It looks like a regular card, but on the inside, it has this little pop-up gatefold section. So I'm going to show you how to make this card in both portrait style and landscape style. Now, the cards in this video feature the Fresh Cut Flowers stamp set from Stampin Up. And they also feature the Fresh Cut Stems die set. So this is a brand new die set that will be coming out starting September 1st. So this stamp set is currently in the catalog, but the die set is new. So you'll definitely want to get your hands on this set. Now, the cards were inspired by some cards that were created by Gail Ellis. She has just some beautiful cards. And I was really inspired by her creations and the color combinations that she used. So that is where my inspiration came from for these card ideas today. Okay, so to create the pop-up gatefold section inside the card, you're going to need a full 8.5 by 11 sheet of cardstock. Actually, you're going to need two of them. So the first way you're going to do it is you're going to cut it this long way. So you're going to cut it in half at 4 1/4 inches to create this long piece. So it's 4 1/4 by 11. Both pieces are 4 1/4 by 11. So next you're going to take another 8.5 by 11 inch piece of cardstock. And this time you're going to cut it in half on the 11-inch side. So you're going to cut it in half at 5.5 inches to create these two pieces. You should have two pieces of cardstock that measure 5.5 by 8.5. And then you should have two pieces of cardstock which measure 4 1/4 by 11 inches. Okay. So to create the gatefold card, you're actually going to be using one of the long pieces and one of the short pieces together. So you can actually create two gatefold cards from two pieces of cardstock that you've cut up. So I'm going to start with the portrait style card. So this is the card that we're going to be making. So you can see it has this regular card. It kind of looks like a regular card until you open it up and then you see this little gatefold section on the inside. So basically what we have is we have our 4 1/4 by 11 inch piece of cardstock. We're just going to score that in the center at 5.5 inches. And this is going to be the outer piece. So it's going to be that top piece on our card front. So that's this piece for our card. Then you're going to take the 5.5 by 8.5 inch piece and you're going to score it. You're going to score each end basically. And so you want to score it in at 2 1/8 inch on each side. And that's what's going to create your little gatefold section for the inside of the card. So these are the two pieces we're going to be using for the portrait style card. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take the gatefold section that we created and we're just going to be adhering it to the inside of our card. And then this piece will come down over the top. We're going to add some glue to the back of our gatefold section because this section is going to go on the inside of the card. And we're just going to line up the edges and line up the top, get it, as close to the top as you can. And I recommend using liquid glue so you can scoot this around a little bit and get it where you want it. Okay, so this is what it looks like. So you have your little gatefold section. We just adhered these two card bases actually together is what we did. And then this top piece just kind of folds over. All right, so to create this card, I used some Stampin' Blends to do my coloring. You guys know how much I love my Stampin' Blends. So I have Daffodil Delight, and then I have the Gray Granite Now this is the light gray granite that I'll be using to color in my image. So basically what I did is I started by stamping the image. So this is one of the images from that Fresh Cut Flowers stamp set. And I'm just going to color in all of the florals here using the light Daffodil Delight marker. Next, I took the dark Daffodil Delight and I just kind of went around and highlighted just some of the parts of these little flowers and their bulbs. So for the flower itself, I just colored the bottom portion and I used the fine tip to do this just to give it a little bit more dimension. So you can see by adding the light and the dark how cool that looks. So I just went around and did that with all of the florals on this particular image. And then the last thing I did is just add some gray color to the leaves. Since I'm using the Daffodil Delight and gray granite, I really just wanted to keep that same color scheme going. Okay, so that's what the florals look like that I'll be using on the card. And then I just used the new coordinating die to cut out this image. All right, so to decorate my cards, I'm using some of the Sun Prints Designer Series paper. So this is just a 2 by 4.5 inch piece, and I'm just going to adhere it towards the right side of the card front. Next, I cut a 3 by 4 inch piece of vellum. So this is one of the specialty vellums, so it has this beautiful white writing on it. So I'm just going to adhere that right across the center of the card front here. Then I just cut a 2 by 3 3/4 inch piece of just another pattern from that Sun Prints Designer Series paper. And then I created a little 2 3/4 inch long piece of this little element here. So there's a little like edging die in this new die set. So I just used it on a scrap piece of white cardstock and just created this fun little design. So I'm going to adhere these two pieces together. And then I'm going to go ahead and adhere this piece towards the left side of my card front. Then I cut a 3-inch circle shape using the Stylish Shapes dies. And I'm just going to adhere this right in the center. And then I'm going to add my pieces. So these are the pieces that I showed you how to color. So I have 2 of them here. And then I used one of the dies from the set just to create this little baby's breath in the gray. So I'm going to adhere these to my card front. So I have 2 pieces here. Those will get adhered to my card front, and then these will go over the top. So to adhere them, I'm just going to use a little glue dot. And we'll just add one of them off to the side. And then this other one, we will add up towards the top here. Okay, so now I'm going to add these little elements. So I'm just going to add this one kind of off to the side a little bit here. And then this one we'll just turn it, kind of tuck it under. And then I just cut another little die shape from a piece of that Daffodil Delight. So I'm going to tuck it under here just to add a little bit more color off on that right side. And then the last thing I did is just embossed a greeting. So I just used one of the greetings from the Cottage Rose stamp set. And then I'm just going to add this right across the bottom here. Okay. And then, of course, we can add some embellishments. So I'm going to just add a couple pearls, just kind of all around. I just really love the look of the die set, all the different die cuts on this card, and it just gives it such a beautiful look. And all it is really just adding a variety of different layers to create that fun little focal point. So that's what the front of the card looks like, but now we have to decorate the inside of the card. We have to decorate our little gatefold section. So to do that, I just started with 2 pieces of pattern paper, which are cut to 1 7/8 by 5 1/4 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere those on each side of the gatefold. Now I used 2 different patterns, mainly because I wanted to add a fun little floral design to one of the patterns. So I'm using kind of this muted pattern over here on the right so that I can add that fun little focal point. So then I just cut a 1 7/8 wide by 3-inch long piece of that vellum, the same vellum that I used on the front of the card. And I'm just going to add this right to the inside here. And then I'm just going to add another little die cut image right here on this little piece. And then I'm just going to take another little floral and just add it right over the top of this. So it just kind of creates a fun little design so that when you see this beautiful design on the front, and then it's just carried over to the gatefold section on the inside of the card. And then when you open up the gatefold section, the last thing I did is I cut a 4 by 5 1/4 inch piece of white cardstock, and then I just stamped that same image on this white piece and colored it in. And so this is going to be the inside of the card. So you can stamp a birthday message or any kind of message on the inside here, or you can leave it blank so that you can handwrite a message. So that is basically what my inside gatefold card looks like. So this is the portrait style gatefold card. And now I will show you the landscape style. Okay, so the second card idea I have to share is the same style card. The only difference is that it is in landscape style instead of portrait style. So this has a different top piece and a different bottom piece. So let me show you how to make this. So you are basically going to take that other 4 1/4 by 11 inch piece of cardstock, and you're going to be using a 5 1/2 by 8 1/2 inch piece of cardstock. So this is why I said that when you cut up 2 pieces of cardstock, it makes sense to make both cards. You can make the portrait style and the landscape style. So for this card, the 5 1/2 by 8 1/2 inch piece is simply going to be scored in the middle at 4 1/4 inches. So this is going to be your top fold, your top folding card here for your landscape style. Then with the 4 1/4 by 11 inch piece, you're going to score in on each side at 2 3/4 inches. So this is actually the gatefold section of the inside of your card. All right, so you have your regular card base, and then you have your gatefold section. So this gatefold section is going to, again, get adhered on the inside, on the bottom here of your card base. So I'm just going to adhere it. And so that's what it looks like. Okay, so this is your landscape style. So this is how I decorated the landscape style. So you can see I have that top part here, and then I have my little gatefold section on the inside. So it's the same concept. I decorated it very much the same way. I just had to change the dimensions of some of my papers. So if you want the full tutorial, I did link to it in the description below this video, so you can get all the dimensions for creating this card in landscape style. So I won't take you through the whole decorating of the card, but I just wanted you to see how the base is just different from the base that I shared with the portrait style card. So let's just look at these cards side by side. So they both have a top folding card base. And then when you open up the top, you have the gatefold sections on the inside. So that's what they look like on the inside. So you can clearly see that with the portrait style, the gatefold section is longer. And with the landscape style, of course, it's shorter. But you're still using, you know, a 4 1/4 by 11 inch piece of cardstock and a 5 1/2 by 8 1/2 inch piece of cardstock for each card. Okay, so there you go. Now you have two different ways you can use this pop-up inside gatefold card idea in your card making. And if you enjoyed these cards, feel free to download the printable tutorial. You can find the link in the description below this video. Thanks so much for joining me today. If you enjoyed this video, please let me know by liking it and sharing it with your friends. And leave me a comment below to let me know what you enjoyed most about the video and the cards shared here today. Have a fun and creative day, my friends. Take care.